The iPad synced at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday night, and 5 words destroyed 3 decades of friendship, 16 years of marriage, and every certainty I had about my daughter. Emma has your eyes now. If you've got some time and maybe something to drink, settle in. This one's going to hurt. So, why did I wait 67 days to destroy them both? Because I'm a contractor. I build things. And when you're about to demolish something, you don't just swing a sledgehammer and hope for the best. You study the foundation. You find the load-bearing walls. You plan every cut, every explosion, every piece of debris. And then you execute with precision. 3 months ago, I thought I had everything figured out. Great business, beautiful family, best friends since high school. Today I'm a single dad who chose to raise another man's biological child. And I sleep better than I have in years. Here's how I got here. March 12th, 2024. That Tuesday started like any other Tuesday for the past 13 years. I was in my home office in Phoenix at 11:45, reviewing bids for a commercial project in Tempe. My construction company had just landed a potential $18 million contract. And I was doing what I always did, working while everyone else slept. That's who I was, Mike Anderson, the guy who outworked everyone, who built a business from nothing, who provided. My wife Sarah always said I was too dedicated. Turns out she appreciated that quality more than I realized. The iPad was sitting on my desk, mine, but synced to Sarah's iPhone because we shared an Apple ID. Made it easier to coordinate calendars, she'd said. I heard the ping, saw the notification light up. A text from Brandon Chen, my best friend since we were 14 years old. 31 years of brotherhood, my business partner. The guy who was in the delivery room when my daughter was born. The message read, Emma asked why she has my eyes today. Getting harder to lie to her about the green eyes thing. Maybe we should have told Mike years ago. I miss you. Tuesday night? I read it 5 times. My hands started shaking so badly I nearly dropped the iPad. I took a screenshot. Some instinct told me to preserve evidence. And then I just sat there in the dark, staring at those 18 words that had just rearranged my entire reality. Emma, my daughter. 14 years old as of last June. Green eyes. Beautiful green eyes that I'd loved since the moment she was born. Eyes that looked nothing like my brown ones. Eyes that everyone had always commented on. Where'd she get those gorgeous green eyes, Mike? And I'd smile and say something about Sarah's grandmother, or recessive genes, or whatever made sense at the time. But Brandon had green eyes, Norwegian heritage on his mother's side. And now I was sitting in my office at midnight, doing math that made me want to vomit. See, Emma was born in June 2010. Brandon had been my best friend since 1993, freshman year at Phoenix High School. He'd been my best man in 2008 when I married Sarah. He was there when Emma was born. I'd called him from the hospital, crying with joy, and he'd shown up 20 minutes later with flowers and cigars. I remembered he'd held Emma that first day and said, "She's got my eyes, brother, green like mine. Must be fate." And we'd laughed. God, we'd laughed. That Tuesday night poker game. We'd been doing Tuesday night poker for 13 years, since 2011 when we started the business together. Every single Tuesday, Brandon would come over around 7. We'd play poker and drink beer until 10 or 11. And then he'd head home. Sarah would make snacks, bring us drinks, chat with us between hands. The perfect hostess, the perfect wife. I sat there replaying every Tuesday night in my head, and suddenly it all looked different. The way Sarah would touch Brandon's shoulder when she brought him a beer. The way she'd laugh at his jokes a little too hard. The way the games always ended around 10 and Brandon would leave. And I'd be so tired from working 80-hour weeks that I'd fall asleep within minutes. Did he come back? After I was asleep, did he come back? I should have confronted them right then. Woken Sarah up, called Brandon, demanded answers, but I didn't. You know why? Because I'm a contractor. And when you find structural damage, you don't just start swinging. You assess, you document, you plan. I forwarded that text to my personal email. Then I started scrolling through Sarah's messages on that iPad, and what I found made that first text look like a love note. There were years of messages. Years. The earliest ones I could find dated back to 2010, right after Emma was born. I can't stop thinking about last night. "Tom's in Austin for 3 days. Can you come over? I love you, but we can't do this anymore." That last one appeared about 50 times over the years, followed immediately by, I miss you, and one more time. There were photos. Hidden in a separate album I'd never noticed because I never snooped. Why would I? Photos of them together, hotel rooms, a cabin in Flagstaff that I recognized because Sarah had told me she was going there for a girls' weekend in 2022. Photos of them kissing. Photos that made it very clear they weren't just having an emotional affair. I found Venmo transactions, Brandon paying for things, Sarah's car payment, spa days, dinners at restaurants I couldn't afford when we were first dating. And then there were the messages about Emma. She has your laugh. She drew a picture of you today and called you Uncle Brandon. Broke my heart. Do you think she knows? Sometimes I look at her and I see you and I love her so much it hurts. Mike would never forgive us. That last one was from 2019, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, they knew they'd been lying to me about Emma, and they kept going, kept playing poker every Tuesday, kept acting like brothers, kept letting me raise his child, while they found time to fuck behind my back. I stayed up all night reading. By the time the sun came up on Wednesday, March 13th, I'd cloned Sarah's entire iPad to an external hard drive. I'd taken screenshots of everything, and I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to confront them yet. I was going to investigate. I was going to gather evidence, and then I was going to destroy them both so completely that they'd spend the rest of their lives rebuilding what I tore down in a single night. The next 72 hours were a special kind of hell. I went to work. I came home. I kissed Sarah goodnight. I helped Emma with her homework. I texted Brandon about a job site, and inside, I was screaming. Thursday morning, I excused myself from breakfast and threw up in the bathroom. Sarah knocked on the door, asked if I was okay. I said I must have food poisoning. She brought me water and crackers and rubbed my back. That's when I knew she was either a sociopath or so deep in her own lies that she'd convinced herself this was normal. Thursday afternoon, I sat in my truck at a construction site and just counted. Emma was born June 14, 2010. It was now March 2024, 14 years. If Brandon was her biological father, and that text made it pretty damn clear he was, then they'd been having an affair for at least 14 years. Probably longer. Maybe the whole marriage. Maybe she married me because I was the safe choice. The guy who'd work himself to death to provide for her, while Brandon was the exciting one. The one she actually wanted. I thought about every time I'd missed a school play because of work. Every time I'd stayed late at a job site. Every time Sarah had said, "Don't worry, Brandon can check in on us." And I'd felt grateful. I'd felt lucky to have a best friend who'd look after my family when I couldn't be there. Turns out he was looking after them real close. Friday, March 15th. I came home for lunch, which I never do. Sarah was surprised. Emma was at school. I watched Sarah move around our kitchen, making me a sandwich, asking about my day, and I studied her like I was seeing her for the first time. She was beautiful, 43 years old and still turned heads. Blonde hair, fit from yoga and running, successful real estate agent. Everyone thought I'd married up, and maybe I had. Maybe that was the problem. She kissed me before I left. "Love you," she said. "Love you too," I said, and I meant it. That's the thing nobody tells you about betrayal at this level. You don't just stop loving someone because they destroyed you. The love and the hate exist at the same time, and it feels like being torn in half. That night, I told Sarah I had to go to Tucson for an emergency job consultation on Saturday. Had to leave early, probably stay overnight. She said that was fine, kissed me goodbye, told me to drive safe. The second I left, I drove to a motel 40 minutes away and set up a nanny cam in our bedroom, hid it in the smoke detector. I'm a contractor. I know how to hide things in walls. Then I sat in that shitty motel room and watched the live feed on my phone. And at 8:47 p.m. on Saturday, March 16th, Brandon's car pulled into my driveway. I watched him walk up to my front door. I watched Sarah answer, wearing one of my old t-shirts and nothing else. I watched them kiss in my hallway. I watched them walk upstairs to my bedroom, and I watched for exactly 3 minutes before I turned it off and threw up again. The thing about discovering betrayal like this is that your brain starts rewriting history. Every good memory gets poisoned. That trip to Sedona last year where Sarah was so happy, she'd probably been texting Brandon the whole time. Emma's 13th birthday party where Brandon gave her that expensive art set, Was he trying to buy her love? Trying to be the dad he never got to be publicly? Every Tuesday poker game where he'd clap me on the back and call me brother, was he laughing at me? Sunday I came home like nothing happened. Sarah greeted me at the door, asked about Tucson. I said it went great. We had family dinner. Emma showed me her latest art project, a self-portrait. She'd painted her eyes green. "I wish they were brown like yours, Dad," she said. "Then we'd match." I excused myself, went to the garage, and broke down. Full-on sobbing, the kind where you can't breathe. Because even if Emma wasn't mine biologically, she was mine in every way that mattered. I'd been there for every nightmare, every skinned knee, every parent-teacher conference. I'd taught her to ride a bike. I'd scared away her first boyfriend when she was 12. I was her dad. And now I had to decide if I wanted to know the truth. Monday, March 18th, I called a private lab and made an appointment for a paternity test. They could do a cheek swab, and I'd have results in 5 days if I paid extra. I paid extra. Tuesday, March 19th, I told Sarah I needed to take Emma for a routine checkup, something about school immunization records. Sarah didn't question it. Why would she? I was boring, reliable Mike. I took Emma to the clinic, told her the doctor needed a cheek swab for some genetic screening the school was requiring. She didn't even flinch. 14 years old, and she trusted me completely. I submitted my own sample that afternoon at the lab. Then I paid $800 for rush results. 5 days? I had to wait 5 days to find out if my daughter was my daughter. Those 5 days were the longest of my life. I went through the motions: work, home, family dinner, help Emma with homework. Watch Sarah text Brandon while pretending to respond to real estate clients. Tuesday poker night happened again. Brandon sat at my table, drank my beer, won $200, and hugged me goodbye. "Love you, brother," he said. "Love you too," I said, and I meant love like the kind you have for someone right before you put them in the ground. I couldn't eat. I lost 8 pounds in 1 week. My sister Diana called me Wednesday and said I looked like death. I told her it was work stress. She didn't believe me, but she didn't push, not yet. Friday, March 22nd, I started drinking. Not a lot, just enough to sleep. Just enough to not think about the fact that my entire life might be a lie. Sunday, March 24th, I took Emma to church. I'm not religious, but Sarah's family is Catholic, and we go sometimes to make her mother happy. Father Murphy gave a sermon about honesty and truth. I almost laughed. Emma held my hand during the service. "I love you, Dad," she whispered. "Love you too, kiddo," I whispered back. Monday, March 25th, 6:13 a.m. I was sitting in my truck in an empty construction site parking lot when the email came through. Subject line: genetic testing results. I stared at my phone for 5 full minutes before I opened the attachment. PDF file, official letterhead. A lot of technical language that all boiled down to one line. Probability of paternity, 0.0%. The alleged father is excluded as the biological father of the child. I didn't cry. I just sat there, staring at that sentence. 0%. Not my daughter. 14 years of birthday parties and bedtime stories and school plays and skinned knees and nightmares and homework help and teaching her to ride a bike and scaring away boys and planning for college. All of it built on a lie. I called in sick to work. First time in 12 years, I'd called in sick. Then I drove to Camelback Mountain and hiked to the summit alone. Took me 90 minutes. I sat up there looking down at Phoenix, at this city where I'd built my whole life. And I thought about how every single thing I could see was contaminated. My house where Brandon had fucked my wife in my bed. The office where I'd worked 80-hour weeks to provide for a family that was laughing at me. The school where Emma went, where everyone probably whispered about how she didn't look anything like me. I checked into a motel that night. Couldn't go home. Couldn't look at Sarah without putting my hands around her throat. Couldn't look at Emma without falling apart. So I got a room at a Super 8 off the highway, and I finally let myself feel it. I destroyed that room, punched the wall, threw the TV remote through the mirror, sobbed until I couldn't breathe. Then I texted my sister, "I need you. Don't tell anyone." Diana showed up 40 minutes later. I handed her the DNA results without a word. She read them, looked up at me, and started crying. "Oh my God, Mike, I'm so sorry." She's not mine, I said. 14 years. She's not mine. What are you going to do? I'm going to destroy them, but first I need you to help me stay sane long enough to do it right. Diana took me back to her place that night, let me sleep in her guest room, brought me coffee in the morning, and then she asked me the question that changed everything. Do you still love Emma? More than anything, I said without hesitation. Then she's still yours. DNA doesn't change 14 years. But they stole my choice. They watched me raise another man's child, and they laughed at me. So make them pay, Diana said, but don't let them take Emma from you. That's what they'd want. And that's when I made the decision. Emma was my daughter, period. I chose her. But Sarah and Brandon had to pay for stealing 14 years of truth from me. They had to pay for every Tuesday night, every lie, every time I'd thanked Brandon for looking after my family. I went home that night, March 26th, kissed Emma goodnight. I love you, kid. Love you too, Dad. Watch Sarah get ready for bed, brush her teeth, ask me if I was feeling better. Much better, I said. Just needed to clear my head. Then I went to my home office and opened a new folder on my laptop. Project Demolition. I spent the next 3 weeks building the foundation for the most calculated revenge of my life. And just like with any good construction project, it started with research and planning. March 27th, 8 a.m. First meeting with Tom Reeves, the most ruthless divorce attorney in Phoenix. Former Marine, 60 years old, won 87% of his cases, specialized in high-asset divorces. I walked into his office with 3 USB drives full of evidence. Tom took 2 hours to review everything. The text messages, the photos, the financial records, the nanny cam footage, the DNA results. When he was done, he leaned back in his chair and smiled. Mr. Anderson, this is the most airtight case I've seen in 20 years. We will bury her. I don't just want to win, I told him. I want her to lose everything. Arizona is a no-fault divorce state, Tom said, but adultery absolutely affects asset division and custody decisions. With this evidence, you'll get the house, majority custody of Emma, and Sarah will likely owe you significant equalization payments. You built that house before the marriage, correct? Bought it in 2006, married in 2008. It's appreciated $400,000 since then. She'll get nothing from the house, the business? Started in 2011, 3 years after marriage. I own 50%, Brandon owns 50%. Tom made a note. We can discuss business implications separately, but regarding the divorce, when do you want to move forward? Not yet, I said. I want to serve her publicly, when I'm ready. Tom raised an eyebrow. Interesting. Any particular venue in mind? I smiled. I'll let you know. That afternoon, I met with Marcus Webb, my business attorney. Marcus had drafted the partnership agreement for Anderson & Chen Construction back in 2011. I brought him the same evidence I'd shown Tom, plus financial records showing that Brandon had used the company credit card to pay for hotel rooms with Sarah, $47,000 over 5 years. Company funds used for his affair with my wife. Marcus went pale when he saw the nanny cam footage. Jesus, Mike, I'm sorry. Can I end the partnership? Marcus reviewed the contract. Then he smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Clause 7.3, moral turpitude. If either partner engages in conduct that damages the company's reputation or violates fiduciary duty, the other partner can force a buyout at a reduced valuation. This is textbook moral turpitude. Using company funds for personal affairs? That's embezzlement. How reduced? Standard is 40% of market value. The business is worth about $16 million, $8 million per partner at full value. You could buy him out for about $3.2 million. He loses roughly $4.8 million. Do it! Mike, I need to trigger this clause in writing, which means Brandon will know you know. Not yet, I said. I need a date first. Marcus nodded slowly. What are you planning? Something proportional. Over the next 2 weeks, I became someone I didn't recognize. Cold, calculating. I documented everything. I secured every asset. I moved money from joint accounts into a separate account. $340,000 of my own earnings. I refinanced the house in my name only, and Sarah signed the papers without reading them because she trusted boring, reliable Mike. I locked her out of company finances. I changed every password I had. I secured Emma's college fund, which was already solely in my name as trustee, and then I found the perfect event. Brandon was being promoted. VP of Business Development at Southwestern Commercial Properties, our biggest client. He'd been working toward this for 5 years. The promotion party was scheduled for April 20th, 2024, at Sanctuary Resort in Scottsdale. Upscale venue, mountain views, 150 guests. Colleagues, clients, friends, both families. Brandon had personally invited me and asked if I'd give a toast. Best man style, he'd said. You're my brother, Mike. I accepted immediately. Wouldn't miss it for the world. I spent 2 weeks preparing that toast. I rehearsed it 30 times in my garage. I practiced staying calm, not crying, not screaming. I knew I'd only get one shot at this, and I had to land it perfectly. April 15th, I told Diana the full plan. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. This is nuclear, Mike. You're going to destroy both of them in front of everyone they know. They destroyed me in private for 15 years, I said. Fair's fair. Are you sure? Once you do this, there's no going back. I've never been more sure of anything. April 19th, the night before. Sarah asked if I was okay, said I'd been distant. I told her it was work stress. She kissed me goodnight. You're a good man, Mike. Brandon is lucky to have you. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up finalizing the slideshow I'd put together. Photos of Brandon and me through the years, photos of Sarah and Brandon, text messages, financial records, the DNA results, all of it timed to music, ready to display on the venue's projection screen. April 20th, 2004. I woke up at 5 a.m., put on my best suit, and looked at myself in the mirror. Today I was going to destroy the two people I'd loved most in the world, and I was going to do it in front of everyone they loved. I felt nothing, just cold determination. The party started at 6 p.m., Sanctuary Resort, beautiful venue, sunset views. I arrived alone, told Sarah to meet me there after showing a property. Brandon greeted me at the entrance with a huge hug. Brother, tonight's going to be amazing. It really is, I said. The cocktail hour was surreal. I moved through the crowd, shaking hands, making small talk. I watched Sarah arrive, watched her kiss me and apologize for being late. I watched Brandon's wife Jessica looking stressed, avoiding my eyes. Did she know? Had she figured it out? During the tech check, I plugged my laptop into the venue's AV system. The event coordinator thought I was helping. Just making sure the slideshow works for Brandon's toast, I said. Dinner started at 7:30. I sat at the head table between Sarah and Brandon. Jessica sat on Brandon's other side, looking miserable. Brandon's parents were there, beaming with pride. His boss gave a speech about integrity and dedication. Jessica gave a tearful toast about her husband, her rock. Brandon's father talked about being proud of his son. Then the MC said, and now, Brandon's best friend Mike Anderson for a special tribute. Everyone applauded. I stood up, took the mic, and smiled. 31 years ago, I began. I met a skinny kid named Brandon Chen in freshman algebra. We've been inseparable ever since. The crowd was smiling. Brandon was wiping away tears. Best man at my wedding, partner in business. The godfather my daughter never officially had. Brandon, you've been there for every major moment of my life, and I've been there for yours. Sarah squeezed my hand. She was beaming. I want to show everyone how deep our bond goes. I made a slideshow. I clicked the remote. The screen behind me lit up. Slide 1. Brandon and me at 16, holding skateboards. Aw, the crowd said. Slide 2. Brandon in his tuxedo. At my wedding, 2008. More smiles, some tears. Slide 3. Brandon in the hospital room when Emma was born, 2010. Brandon has always been part of my family, I said. Slide 4. A text message. Brandon to Sarah, 2019. I can still taste you. Tom's in Austin. Come over. Confused murmurs. Sarah gasped and stood up. Mike, what are you... Sit down, Sarah. We're not done. Slide 5. Hotel receipt. Scottsdale, 2019. Charged to Anderson and Chen Construction Company credit card. The murmurs got louder. Slide 6. Photo of Sarah and Brandon kissing in a hotel room, 2022. The room erupted. Gasps, shouts. Oh my God! Brandon stood up. Mike, stop this right now. I'm just getting started, brother. Slide 7, Emma's first birthday photo. Brandon holding her, both of them with green eyes. Funny thing, Brandon, my daughter has your eyes, not mine. Slide 8, DNA test results. Official letterhead. Probability of paternity, 0.0%. I read it aloud. The alleged father is excluded as biological father of the child. Total chaos. People yelling, Sarah screaming. Mike, please, not like this. Jessica threw her wine in Brandon's face. You son of a bitch! Brandon's parents got up and left. Security was moving toward us. Brandon lunged at me and 2 waiters grabbed him. I stayed calm. I'd practiced this. 15 years, Brandon. You fucked my wife for 15 years. You watched me raise your daughter. You smiled in my face every Tuesday night while you were planning the next time you'd sleep with Sarah in my bed. I turned to address the full room, 150 people, all staring. To answer your questions, yes, I'm divorcing Sarah. Yes, I'm dissolving the business with Brandon. And yes, Emma is still my daughter, because I choose her, even if her mother and biological father didn't choose honesty. I looked at Brandon. Anderson and Chen Construction is done. My attorney will be in touch about the buyout. You'll be hearing from my CPA about the embezzlement charges. And you're fired from this project as of tonight. I already spoke to your boss. I looked at Sarah. You'll be served divorce papers tomorrow. Tom Reeves represents me. Don't come home tonight. Your stuff will be on the lawn. I unplugged my laptop and walked out. The last thing I saw was Brandon sobbing, Sarah hyperventilating, Jessica screaming at Brandon, and 150 people with their phones out, recording everything. I got in my truck, drove to Diana's house, and broke down completely. Relief, grief, rage, all of it hitting me at once. Diana held me while I sobbed. It's over, she said. You did what you had to do. I checked my phone. 73 missed calls, 200 texts. Sarah, how could you? In front of everyone. You monster. Brandon, you destroyed my life. I'll sue you. Jessica, thank you for telling me the truth. I'm filing tomorrow. By midnight, the video had 47,000 views on local social media. By morning, it was on the news. Valley executive caught in 15-year affair. Business partner exposes him at promotion party. The next 8 weeks were a blur of legal proceedings and watching my revenge play out across 3 separate fronts. The family and social destruction was immediate and brutal. Sarah's real estate firm put her on administrative leave within 48 hours. Her mother, staunch Catholic, very traditional, disowned her. Called me crying, apologizing for her daughter. Sarah's book club, yoga group, PTA committee, all ghosted her. She lost 3 major listings in 1 week. By May, she'd moved into a studio apartment in a bad part of town. Brandon got it worse. Jessica filed for divorce April 21st. Took their kids, aged 8 and 11, got a restraining order. Brandon's parents, traditional Chinese family, very focused on honor and reputation, refused to speak to him. His brother posted on Facebook, I have no brother. Brandon's father cut him out of the family import business he was supposed to inherit. Southwestern Commercial Properties fired Brandon the morning after the party. Effective immediately. I'd already called his boss the day before and explained that I couldn't work with a client that employed Brandon. They chose our construction company over him. Easiest decision they'd ever made. The financial destruction took longer, but hit harder. Tom served Sarah with divorce papers at her office. Public, humiliating, exactly what I wanted. Arizona is a no-fault state, but adultery affects everything. I got the house, the cars, majority of the savings. Sarah had to pay me $125,000 in equalization payments because the house had appreciated during our marriage and was solely in my name. Her lawyer tried to argue that her income had contributed to the appreciation. Tom laughed him out of the room. Your client spent 15 years committing adultery with the plaintiff's business partner, Tom said. In this jurisdiction, that absolutely affects asset division. She's lucky she's not paying more. Sarah's real estate firm fired her May 1st. Conduct unbecoming. Her license was under review by the state. She wound up working as a dental receptionist, making $30,000 a year, from 6-figure real estate agent to answering phones at a strip mall dentist in 6 weeks. Brandon's financial destruction was my masterpiece. Marcus triggered the moral turpitude clause in our partnership agreement. Brandon was forced to sell his 50% stake in Anderson and Chen Construction at 40% of market value. $3.2 million for a stake worth $8 million. He lost $4.8 million in one stroke. But I wasn't done. I reported the embezzlement to the IRS, $47,000 in company funds used for hotel rooms with Sarah. The audit was brutal. Brandon had to repay every penny plus penalties, $94,000. He was already broke from the divorce and the business buyout. He had to liquidate everything. May 10th, Brandon moved in with his mother. His father still wouldn't speak to him. May 15th, Jessica's divorce filing demanded full custody, alimony, and child support. Brandon couldn't afford a lawyer. He got court-appointed representation and got destroyed. But the emotional and psychological fallout was the part that kept me up at night. Sarah showed up at my house at 2 a.m. on April 23rd, sobbing, begging to talk. I stood in the doorway and watched her fall apart. "Please," she said, "I love you. I made a mistake. Emma needs me. You don't live here anymore. Leave or I call the police. Mike, please, I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. You fucked my best friend for 15 years and let me raise his child. You meant it. Emma needs her mother. Emma needs a mother who didn't lie to her for 14 years. Get help, Sarah." April 28th, Sarah was admitted to Banner Behavioral Health on a 72-hour psychiatric hold. She'd left a voicemail threatening suicide. Part of me felt guilty. Part of me felt nothing. Mostly I felt tired. Brandon's breakdown was worse. April 24th, he showed up at one of our construction sites, tried to fight me in front of my entire crew. 2 guys had to restrain him. He was crying, screaming, "You were my best friend. You destroyed my life." I looked at him. This man I'd known for 31 years. This man I'd called my brother. "And you were fucking my wife while I raised your daughter. Get off my property." April 30th, Brandon's mother called me. "He's not eating. He's talking about ending it. Please, Mike, I know he wronged you, but he's my son. Please. I'm not responsible for his choices. Tell him to get help." Brandon checked into rehab in early May. Alcohol abuse, started drinking heavily after the exposure. I felt nothing when I heard. He'd earned every consequence. But then, there was Emma. Emma had been staying with Diana during the worst of it. April 25th, I picked her up and took her to a park. We sat on a bench overlooking the city, and I told her everything. Age-appropriate version, but everything that mattered. Mom had a relationship with Uncle Brandon. Uncle Brandon is your biological father. I'm still your dad. I chose you. Emma listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she started crying. "So my whole life is a lie? You're not really my dad?" "I am your dad. Biology doesn't change 14 years. But Mom lied. Brandon lied. Everyone lied." "Yeah, they did." "Did you know? Have you always known?" "No, baby. I found out in March. That's why I did what I did." Emma looked at me with those green eyes, Brandon's eyes, and something in her face broke. "I hate them," she said. "I hate them for lying, and I hate you for telling everyone." Then she ran, just ran away from me through the park. I followed her, calling her name, but she wouldn't stop. Eventually, she made it to Diana's car and locked herself inside. She wouldn't talk to me for 3 days. That's when it hit me. I'd protected Emma from nothing. I'd just given her a different kind of trauma. The secret would have hurt her. But the public exposure, her classmates probably saw that video. Her teachers, her friends' parents. Everyone knew now that her mom had cheated, that her dad wasn't her biological father, that her whole family was a lie. I started asking myself the question I'd been avoiding. Did I go too far? The answer didn't come easy. May and June were brutal months of therapy. Emma and I started going together, family counseling with Dr. Chen. Not related to Brandon, thank God. Different Chen. Dr. Chen asked Emma how she felt about everything. Emma said, "I'm mad at Mom and Brandon for lying, but I'm mad at Dad for how he told everyone. Why did the whole world need to know?" Good question, kiddo. I'm still figuring that out. The truth is I wanted them to hurt the way I hurt. I wanted Sarah to lose everything she'd built while lying to me. I wanted Brandon to watch his perfect life collapse. I wanted public humiliation because private betrayal wasn't enough. But Emma didn't betray me. and Emma paid a price for my revenge anyway. Dr. Chen asked me if I regretted it. I said, I regret that Emma saw the video before I could tell her, but no, I don't regret making them face consequences. Emma was quiet for a long time. Then she said, You chose me. Even after you found out, you chose me. Every single day, I said. That means something, Emma said. That means maybe we're going to be okay. Summer 2024. Emma turned 15 in June. We had a small party, just Emma, me, Diana, and a few of Emma's friends. No Sarah, no Brandon, just us. Emma asked if she could spray paint something at my construction site. I said sure. She took a can of purple paint and wrote, Emma was here, on a steel beam before we covered it with drywall. My mark on the world, she said. Permanent. Just like you and me, I said. We started rebuilding our relationship slowly. Weekly therapy, road trips, Grand Canyon, Zion, Bryce Canyon, places Sarah had never wanted to go. Emma opened up around campfires, told me she felt like she didn't know who she was anymore. I told her she was Emma Anderson, my daughter, and nothing would change that. I built her a custom desk for her art supplies, made it from reclaimed wood from one of our demo projects. She painted it with designs, turned it into a work of art itself. I cried when I saw the finished product. Good tears this time. Sarah started getting supervised visitation in June. 2 hours, twice a month, a social worker present. Emma was cold to her at first. Wouldn't talk, wouldn't engage. But Sarah kept showing up, kept trying, got a new job, admin at a dentist's office, started therapy. Sent Emma letters that I screened first before passing along. By August, Emma asked if she could see Sarah without supervision. She's trying, Dad. It's weird, but she's trying. I said yes. Part of being a good father is knowing when to let go a little. Emma had dinner with Sarah at Olive Garden, neutral ground. Emma texted me after. It was okay. Weird, but okay. I was proud of her. 14 years old and more mature than both her biological parents combined. Brandon never reached out to Emma, not once. In September, I received one letter from him. I almost threw it away, decided to read it. Mike, I know sorry will never be enough. I destroyed the best friendship I ever had. I destroyed your family. I'll never forgive myself. I'm in therapy, trying to understand why I did this. If Emma ever wants to meet me, I'll be here. But I won't push. You're her father. You always have been. B. I put the letter in my safe. Didn't respond. Emma asked once if she should meet him. I told her it was her choice when she was ready, if she ever was. She said, I'm not ready. Maybe never. He had 14 years, to be honest. Fair enough, kid. September brought an unexpected development. I met Lauren, single mom, 39, architect. Her daughter Zoe was in Emma's art class. We met at the high school open house, started talking, had coffee, then dinner, then honest conversation about our respective disasters. I have a lot of baggage, I told her. Everyone our age does, she said. She'd seen the video. Everyone in Phoenix had seen the video. I don't judge you for what you did, she said. I judge people by who they are now. We took it slow. October brought a double date. Me and Lauren, Emma and Zoe. Mini golf and dinner. Emma approved. She's cool, Dad, and you smile again. I was learning to trust again. It was hard. Every time Lauren texted, part of me wondered if she was lying. Every time she was late, I wondered if she was cheating. Therapy helped. Dr. Patel, my individual therapist, said it was normal. Betrayal rewires your brain. You have to actively work to trust again. But I was trying. That was something. Anderson Construction Group, renamed after buying out Brandon, had its best year ever. $22 million in revenue. Hired 12 new people. Started a mentorship program for young tradespeople. The business I'd built with a liar became the business I was proud of. By December 2024, life had a new rhythm. Therapy on Tuesdays. I reclaimed that day. Work during the week. Emma on weekends. Occasional dates with Lauren, who was patient and kind and didn't push. Emma was thriving in an advanced art program. Sarah was working on herself, showing up for supervised visits, slowly rebuilding trust with Emma. Brandon was somewhere. I didn't know, didn't care. People asked me if I regretted the toast. The honest answer? No. They stole 15 years from me. I took one night from them. Fair trade. But I do regret Emma seeing that video. I should have told her first, privately. That's my one real regret. Do I forgive them? No. I don't think I ever will. But I don't think about them every day anymore. That's my version of moving on. December 26th, 2024. I'm standing at Emma's art show at her school. Her painting won an award. It's a portrait of my hands building something. A house, a structure, something solid and strong. The title is Foundation. Her artist statement reads, "My dad taught me that when something breaks, you can rebuild it stronger." I'm crying. Good tears. Emma hugs me. "Love you, Dad. Love you more, kid. We're going to be okay. I spent 31 years building a friendship, 16 years building a marriage, and 14 years building a family. Brandon and Sarah demolished all of it in one night. Well, 15 years of nights, but you know what I mean. But I rebuilt. And the new foundation, it's honest, it's strong, and it's mine. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, you know that revenge doesn't heal you. It just gives you back control. The healing comes after. In therapy and tears and choosing to show up for the people who matter. Emma matters. Lauren matters. The business I built with my own hands matters. I built my whole life on a foundation of lies. Time to demolish it and start over. And that's exactly what I did. The thing about demolition is you can't be scared of the dust, the noise, the temporary destruction. You have to trust that when the smoke clears, you'll have space to build something real, something that'll last. I'm building. Still building. Always building. And for the first time in my adult life, I actually know what I'm building on. Truth.